There are a few incidents, a few issues that the public has been aware of, and I would like to touch on a few of them this morning because I think that the public should be reminded of a lot that has been going on or that was started, and also be reminded of what has been continuing based on number one, the governing program of the red, white, and blue government, and number two, how that relates to the fall of the government of about a year ago, or over a year ago, almost 2 years. As everyone know, back then, the government had three main objectives. One was to balance the budget for 2016, one was to call snap elections, and the other one was to introduce electoral reform. Now, the budget is an annual thing, so whether it was balanced in 2016 or 2015 is information in the past. The other thing of the elections was held last August, or last September, I'm sorry, and but the third thing, which is the electoral reform, promises was made to the public, but was not kept. And for me, I think that it is definitely using basically the offices of parliament and government to make promises and not delivering on them. Number one is, and if you go back to what was stated back then with the president of parliament, and also the members of the coalition, it was indicated that electoral reform would happen, or some form of it would happen. Up until today, this is going on 2 years, there has been nothing coming to Parliament in terms of electoral reform. And I would like for those who have made those promises to come to the people and explain to the people why nothing has been done where that is concerned. That is one of the main points that I find as a country. We just can't make these promises and not live up to them. That is one. Secondly is the fact that the Integrity Chamber, as you know, there was a meeting a month ago. The Prime Minister got very upset with, in particular, myself. And why I find he got upset with the line of questioning that I posed is because of the fact that I exposed his inaccuracies where that is concerned. One was, you come to Parliament and present a letter to the President of Parliament indicating that one, an agreement was made, wasn't signed by you, but signed on your behalf by the SG. The agreement that was made has a hard date on it, which is October 31st, for legislation to be passed, and an integrity chamber will be instituted on St. Martin. And this is the same parliamentarian at the time that was vehemently against an integrity chamber. And in the communication that I've shared with you all today, it clearly indicates that you have individuals, politicians, mind you, and that is the reason why I was kind of I felt omitted, because of the fact that you as an individual, you weren't the Prime Minister at the time, you was a member of Parliament, you're completely, totally against not only the Integrity Chamber, but the way in which the Integrity Chamber was introduced. And today you come and do the same identical thing, but you're afraid. Why? The only thing that has changed, and I told him then, and I'll tell him now again, is because back then Marshall Gums was the Prime Minister, and today you are the Prime Minister. Everything else remained the same. So isn't that fooling the people? I think that it is, and and you could fool some of the people, some of the time, but you can't continue to fool the people all the time. And I think this has to stop, because at the end of the day, St. Martin is a country that is developing. We are very young within the kingdom. We have a lot to learn as a country, but we have a lot of opportunities that we can take advantage of. And then when you do these things, number one, it puts us back into a scenario or situation where people cannot trust what we are saying. And I am saying that at this point, with a protocol being signed, the Parliament has not, as far as I know, not received any draft legislation. But as the Prime Minister said, that one will be on its way, and I'm looking forward to that debate where that is concerned. Thirdly, the Pearl of China project. We have a scenario where government is saying to the people of St. Martin that they have struck gold. That was one of the statements that was made by the minister at the time. But when you look at what is being presented as a project, basically they are developing a convention center. They call it Convention and Training Center. Now, as far as I know from my own experience as being the former executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, I've been to many conventions and trade expos that is held in a convention center. Case in point, we've been to Expo Comer, which is held every March in Panama. And as you know, Panama is the gateway to the world with the Panama Canal. Now, when you look at the conference convention center, there's a difference between a convention center and a conference center. The convention center is designed where businesses can come and present their products to sell, products and services to sell and display. Imagine that you are establishing in Cahill, as I heard that it will be, a convention center where it will be run and operated by Chinese, and all of the businesses, all of the services will be housed in this convention center. My question to that is, what happens now to the businesses and the services that is provided outside of the conference center? Is this convention center going to have businesses established inside of it from St. Martin, or is this convention center only going to have its members who are that represents the Chinese investors to operate and own within this convention center? And if that is the case, then basically what they're doing is creating a whole new economy on St. Martin that is outside of the present economy that all of us live from. That to me is scary. Why it is scary is because that means that if you're going to build your home, and it might be good for the consumers, don't get me wrong, but it will kill business. Because if you're going to build your home and you want to buy windows, you don't have to travel to Puerto Rico, Santo Domingo, or Miami anymore. You can just travel to Cahill and buy them.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
When Win yourself a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies. Get your tickets for the Gold Green Car Raffle and win a brand new Toyota Prius C. Tickets only $10. Get your tickets today. The more tickets you get, the more chances you have. Draw date, Sunday, October 8th. It's available at Van Godberdeen Madam Estate, Big D's Photo Studio on the Pondville, and from all Lion members and at the Lion's Den. Get your tickets to win a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
USM have managed to get at least 2 of their programs, namely business and hospitality, accredited by the UK. But in order for them to hold that accreditation, government would have to put a lot more financing, up to at least 3 million guilders, to finance the institution, like all other countries within the kingdom that have chosen to finance their education institution. Now that you don't have that law in place, how do you manage, how do you plan to give USM the much needed finance so that they can hold the accreditation they managed to secure after so many years?
I did figure where you were going with the question, Bibi. As you know, as soon as I leave here, as a matter of fact, in the next 5 minutes, I go across to USM to be officially updated on their new status, on the fact of the matter in terms of their accreditation, as well as some other plans that they have. As a matter of fact, we've been meeting with USM and know a lot of their intentions. We knew where they were, and of course, we applaud that, and of course, I'll do that when we have it officially. From the ministry's point of view, we all know the situation with the budget. Budget 217 is established, 2018 has already been sent up. Increases in subsidy to any institution has to be requested. And so once that is done in process and within the realms of our limitations, we will do what we have to do. Of course, when the budget gets to Parliament, we can always lobby with Parliament to make the necessary increases and changes, and they have in the past always tried to do that. But if you're going to increase your payments to Peter, you usually have to rob Paul. So it will be then up to, this is the reality, unless we can ascertain the higher amounts that we are hearing about, but which I'm understanding we cannot even count on in terms of being able to spend, even though we've ascertained that the year has gone pretty well, and we have collected more than we've anticipated to collect. But as you know, our budget, and specifically the budget of education, culture, youth, and sport, has already shortfalls. We have shortfalls in several areas which would fall exactly within that budget post where schools get subsidies. We already have to figure out where we're going to take from to be able to cover our obligations where school busing, where subsidies are concerned. We're doing our best to cut the cost where it's been unnecessary. But this is the reality of the situation that I now have to deal with. When you're on the outside looking in, you can expect immediate gratification. But knowing the accountability and all of the steps and processes that we have to take in approving budgets, in improving and increasing budgets, it is a process. So while I applaud, and I'm very happy that USM has gotten to this point, government collaborates also with USM to make sure that they are viable. We issue study financing to students who would prefer to leave the country. and we tell them that they must start at USM once the education is provided here. And there we have agreements with several universities in the United States which accept the associate degrees of USM. And many of our students, the credits, they have an associate's most of the time, and the credits associated with that are totally transferred to several universities where our children do a 2-on-2, and they graduate top of the classes at those universities in the U.S. So USM is something we want to continue as an institution. We want to continue to grow. The process of approving laws in St. Martin is ridiculously long. The lack of law and legal expertise for the necessary to happen is an issue we're also dealing with, and you'll hear more about that with our coming law school as well. And so we're doing all we can with what we have, Bibi, and we'll see how we can increase that funding once the request comes in. I cannot make a promise at this point, but know that it is a priority for this government to finalize the tertiary law, as well as to continue to help USM to grow.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 fun mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of fun miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free fun miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, fun within your reach.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Win yourself a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies. Get your tickets for the Gold Green Car Raffle and win a brand new Toyota Prius C. Tickets only $10. Get your tickets today. The more tickets you get, the more chances you have. Draw date, Sunday, October 8th. It's available at Van Godberdeen Madam Estate, Big D's Photo Studio on the Pondville, and from all Lion members and at the Lions Den. Get your tickets to win a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies.
Some laws will have to be put together in order to run the business or whatever it is for the USM.
Tertiary law?
Okay, so are you all working on those laws in order to make sure that that it's a good going for the St. Martin University?
Yes, that question was also asked in press briefing, I guess, to preempt what would be happening here. The tertiary, I didn't know off the top of my head what stage we were at. I know the draft had been prepared by the Department of Education and has been submitted to the Secretary General. It's, I believe, at the advisors in my cabinet as well as other stakeholders, after which it will come to me. And once we pass it on to the Council of Ministers, it then goes to the governor and the advisory, the Raad van Advies, Council of Advice, for further advice. And then after that, if there are no, well, there's never no amendments. There's usually amendments, so then it goes back to the, yes, it's a very long process. And yes, Social Economical Council and others. So those are the stakeholders that have gotten the first draft already. Right, Asha? The first draft also went to the Senate, etc. Right, so they all get the first draft, so they can already start to look at it and see, but it's at the first draft stage within the system and would be on my desk hopefully soon, because my advisors go through it also before it comes to me. But it is in the process, and we don't only need this for USM, but for all universities of tertiary education on St. Martin to be able to protect the persons who are taking part in that type of education. But I must say USM has been doing a great job even without it in place, and several of the products of USM are making a valiant contribution to our society already. So I don't think anybody should be afraid to come to USM. And with our study financing policy, we actually forced quite a few of them to come here. I constantly am dealing with requests to, no, but my child is accepted abroad and you're demotivating the child, but then 2 years later, I see them in the associate's degree graduation cap and gown, and they're just as proud and as if they had been somewhere else. And as a matter of fact, all of them, I have not heard of one USM graduate with an associate's not continue and achieve their bachelor's wherever they have gone, if that was their goal. So keep up the good work, and we have to do more PR to promote USM as a viable option, regardless of the dorms being present or not, what is happening inside the walls, whether little things need to fix. Similarly with all our education institutions, we are having many successes which are not getting as much publicity as the negativity.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
On Wednesday, the Parliament will be meeting in a central committee setting with the General Audit Chamber to discuss its year report 2016. In that meeting as well, a central committee meeting, we will be having what I believe is the first, and that is a discussion on documentation that has been approved by the General Assembly of Par Latino. Let me explain the process of Par Latino in brief. You are, of course, aware of the fact that there are several committees of Par Latino, similar to our own parliament that has different committees on different topics. So members from all of the countries that are members of Par Latino would meet for the meetings of these specific committees. Topics will be discussed. Oftentimes, these discussions lead to presentations of a position paper from Par Latino on a particular topic, or often as well a draft framework law. And these leyes marcos, as they are called, then go from the committees to an executive board of Par Latino. And once these documents, whether they be position papers or or draft laws would then go to the big meeting that is called a General Assembly, and there these matters are approved. So we have several documentations, including some framework legislation, proposed framework legislation that have been approved. And as we have been discussing the functioning of Par Latino for a long time, especially within Parliament, I indicated that I believe that these documents that are approved, also often with the support of St. Martin, that we should have a further discussion on them in a Central Committee meeting of Parliament. Now, we are not yet at the stage of having these documents translated for the discussion, but I think the gist of many of these documents can be had, and I believe it is necessary for Parliament to first of all decide whether the documentation that we have, whether there is something to be had from the documentation for St. Martin. So for example, I think I've mentioned in the past that we have seen coming out of the Par Latino structure that I just mentioned, we have seen a framework law on alternative energy. We have seen a framework law on domestic violence. We have seen a framework law on different matters. And these framework laws are adopted, and they encourage, because of course Par Latino cannot impose on any country, but they encourage the participating or the membership countries to see in how far they can make use of these drafts. So what you often see in these documentation is that member states are encouraged to. Member states are encouraged to. But as far as I can remember, the Parliament of St. Martin has never really had a discussion even to determine, well, this framework law, we can get something out of it. We can do something with it. So a start is going to be made with that discussion, because I believe that while we should continue to have a discussion on the participation in Par Latino, by St. Martin at least, I think we should make use of the fact that we are a paying member of Par Latino.